Well, it's noon here on Friday, January 27th in Ventnor, New Jersey. And apparently Zach's in Ventnor, New Jersey today as well. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge with your hosts, Zach and Ray. And even though it looks like we might be sitting in the same exact seat, apparently we're not.
Give me 1 second, Pops.
What am I giving you a second for? You getting a call too?
Oh my. I'm getting a weird feedback. Speaker output. Loop back. Speaker out. I'm bringing Kimberly in and I'll let you guys figure this out. Here she comes.
Pops, I think someone's at the door. Can you let him in?
Oh. Hey, I hate to scare you like this, but I'm right around the corner from you in your house.
Oh my God. Everybody apparently is hanging out at my condo, and well, I love it.
Yeah, I didn't want to scare you, but I did see you walking around getting your coffee this morning, and I didn't want to jump out, and give you a startle, but I've been here the whole time, Ray. So
oh my goodness, I hope you approved of my pajamas today.
Oh, your pajamas. Yes, I love you. There are some people out there that just can't stand our antics and our realness on this channel, but I don't care. And there's Zach. Hey, Zach.
Can I tell you guys something? I am such an idiot. Like, I'm truly such an idiot. I had our live stream open in a different browser, so it was like a delayed 4-second. Everything you were saying was coming in my Happy Friday, guys. How are both of you?
Happy Friday. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're all well. We're all hanging out here in Ventnor today.
All right, so here's the deal. We are going to be talking about, we've got a lot of different stories, but Pops and Kimberly, I wanted to start with something that I didn't cue either of you up for. What is new this past week? Exactly. This past week, we spent a lot of time talking about how the auto market is in an interesting place. A lot of the banks are reporting things that are a little nerve-wracking. The dealers, Dad, you pulled up the NADAs. They're expecting to make less money this year than they did last year. I want to just proclaim it. There are a lot of recession alert type things, things that are indicators that there's going to be a slowdown of sorts. We all understand it. Both of you worked in the industry, if I'm not mistaken, back during and coming out of the prior recession. I thought we could start today's show off with a little bit on, are we in an auto market recession? And more importantly, what was the last recession like for the auto market? And will this one be any different? So yes, I know I didn't cue either of you up for it, but I think it's an interesting topic for us to discuss initially.
Who wants to go first?
I just remember how horrible my paycheck was, and you can go, Ray.
Well, I don't think this recession will be anywhere near what the Great Recession was. I know, at least at that time when we were in Scottsdale, we were living and I was working at Acura North Scottsdale. During the height of the Great Recession, our business was off about 75%. So if we have a recession now, maybe there'll be a 10% decline, a 20% decline.
You really only think 10 or 20%? Dad? We're already starting to see a lot of signs that it's more significant than that.
That you asked me what I thought. I'm sharing with you what I think. I don't think it'll be anywhere like what 2007, 2008, 2009 were. I mean, literally, the Acura store, we averaged the year before 104 new cars a month. When I left, we had sold 54 or 55 new cars that month. 2 months or 3 months later, the store sold 18 new cars. And we moved east where, the recession was, they had maybe a 35% reduction in sales as opposed to a 75% reduction in sales. So I just personally, It was bad. It was horrible. Banks wouldn't lend good people money. It didn't matter how good their credit was. It was virtually impossible to get a car loan. But I don't think it'll be anywhere near that severe this time around. What do you think, Kimberly?
I am kind of along the same lines, just remembering where I was at that time too. Now, you've heard me say I worked for a multi-brand store. I did. I worked for Subaru, Mazda, Volkswagen, import building, but at that time, I was in the GMC Buick building, and boy, it hit hard. It hit us really, really hard. Everything just came to a screeching halt. And then there was all the talk about bailout, because is GM going to get bailed out? Are they, aren't they? But during that time, your girl here wasn't making a whole lot of money. It was not a good time. From what I see here, however, yes, it appears on the peripheral we're heading into a recession, but I know that it's not hitting finance managers the way it did yet back then. Other things are, Zach. Other things are.
Yeah. I want to bring up one point, though, to help kind of frame the conversation and why I think the title today is actually appropriate. And it's a good conversation to start off with, like auto market recession, whether the whole industry, whether the whole economy goes into recession is not a question we're going to try and tackle on the show. But this past week, and I know, Kimberly, you saw us covering this, and everyone who's been on the show each day, Capital One auto originations fall 32% year over year. And this great chart demonstrates different auto lenders and what their originations were year over year. Like Wells Fargo's actual originations were down 46.8%, not the dollars, but the total number of loans. US Bank down 28%. And so, Pops, to your point of, I don't think we're going to see a 75% fall off in purchases. I don't know how you can say that when we're already seeing from fourth quarter, we're already seeing originations at some of these major banks go down over 25, 30%.
The reason I say it is because that chart, as startling and as stunning as it may be, does not reflect what's going on at the captive lenders. Okay. And for most of your major brands, most of the car loans are put through the captive lenders. So, yes, you're seeing the major banks in this country do fewer loan originations and putting more money towards loan loss provisions. But we don't have the information on the captive lenders. And my guess is that they're still making the loans that are necessary for those dealerships to get by. And here is the other thing. For the last 2 years, dealerships, even though they've sold fewer cars because there's been fewer cars built, dealerships have never made more money. They have never been as profitable as they have been.
Right.
So if moving forward there's a recession, if they cut their profits in half, they're still profitable.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Kimberly.
agree. Stratospheric is the term that comes to mind from one of the automotive news articles. Stratospheric. Yeah. When we come back down, then I think we can remeasure and see where we're at as far as going into recession with the car industry.
I was trying to pull up. I couldn't find it that quickly. We get those quarterly reports. I think it's from Experian or TransUnion. I was searching for TransUnion. It must be Experian. And, we've seen the share of financing and where originations are happening. And if I'm not mistaken, Pops and Kimberly, we saw in the most recent, I guess it was Experian quarterly update. It was credit unions have the largest share of loan originations for auto loans. Because Pops, you're saying, we don't have insight into the data on captives. And you're generally correct. The area where we do is when they sell their ABS, when they do their sales of those bundles of loans. And we've only had one captive ABS deal, asset-backed securities deal this year. And I think it was a GM bundle of loans that got sold out, like $1 billion worth of GM loans earlier this year. And when they do that, there's obviously, it's priced based on the likelihood that those loans are actually going to get paid off and things like that. And I think we did see an increase in the expected delinquency on that front. Regardless, I think my point is simply that we are seeing a slowdown in the market. Both of you are saying that the slowdown you experienced in 07, 08, 09 was life altering. Pops, we moved across the country. Kimberly, you're alluding to it. Your paycheck was not what you expected your paycheck to be. But neither of you are expecting that what we're heading into right now in 2023 will look the same, because we're coming down from such a high. We the profits were so high. We're kind of just like normalize a little bit, not go back to where we were, like people have to pick up and move their families across the country because the dealership goes out of business or they fire you or something like that.
I mean,
go ahead, Kimberly.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. We're not there yet. We're just coming back down. That's all, to where things were normalized. I don't really like that word, getting it back to normal. I don't know that it's ever going to get back to normal. What is normal? I mean, we could go down a rabbit hole on that, but no, it's just coming back down from the stratosphere.
Yeah, the Great Recession was so close to a depression, which is why we refer to it as the Great Recession. And I don't think, and obviously I could be wrong. I'm just a college dropout. What the hell do I know? But right. I all signs point towards, if there is a recession, it's not going to be as severe or nearly as severe as what we all lived through and experienced 07, 08, 09, and moving on. It's just, but that's not to say that it won't be rough times for people, because it will. That's not to say that it won't be more difficult in the auto industry, because it will. You have to, and here's something you have to consider. Last year, for the first time ever, salespeople's compensation averaged over $100,000. That's never happened before. The average prior to that, a couple of years back, might have been $50,000, $60,000, not $100,000. And if there's a contraction of the market and a change in pricing structures, those same salespeople who made $100,000 last year might find themselves struggling to make $65,000 or $70,000 this year. But they're still going to be making a living. They're just not going to be making as nice a living as they had. Will that impact them? Absolutely it will. Will the recession impact everybody? Absolutely it will. But it's not taking people's incomes from $100,000 down to $40,000. That'll be the difference, in my mind.
Interesting. I actually know, I mean, if you want to talk salaries, I actually know finance managers that were making, I don't know, $125,000, $135,000 a year. And as I've said so many times, during the past 2 years, finance managers have dug their heels in the finance office the exact same way the front end has. And their profits were enormous. So if there was a finance manager that was making 125, that finance manager is now making 325. And I kid you not, I know one of them. So that's going to come back down, especially as interest rates rise. Finance managers have to get that person into a loan because, well, consumers are demanding that they be in a certain payment range now because the interest rates are so high. And it's just this give and this take. It's going to be harder for finance managers to put more product onto that loan that's going to raise the payment. We could go down a whole rabbit hole, and also for the dealership, we're looking at more and more 84-month loans. Well, those people are going to be coming back statistically in 3 to 4 years. They're buried. Okay, they need to trade those cars in, which now means the finance manager has to get all of that negative equity bought on a new vehicle. So it's a big ball of wax.
Don't mind me, guys, but I'll probably still go with a headline tomorrow night of, worse than 0809. I hear what both you're saying. I really, really do. I also wonder if I don't know. I think we have different perspectives on this. I think 2023 is going to be a really difficult year for the auto industry, and one where I think a lot of folks will end up going out of business. Maybe not franchise dealerships, but I think there's a lot of people that are underwater right now, and I think Carvana may be one of those first chips that falls next month when we see their earnings. There's millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars in negative equity tied up in the 40 million vehicles that are going to be transacted, this year. And I think there's going to be some heads that roll because of that. But I hear what you're saying, maybe because things spiked up so high, used car prices went up so high, gross margins went up so high. Everything's just coming back to what it was pre-pandemic. I hope you're right. I hope that it's just a normalization. I wouldn't be surprised if, we went up this much, we go down that much. And it kind of like takes a little while on the chart before it evens out again. We shall see. Can I bring up a comment from the chat? Do you guys mind?
No,
Go for it.
You're the producer and the director, buddy.
From Michael, thank you for the contribution. I'm looking
Thank
to
you,
buy
Michael.
a used 2020 BMW 3 Series in March. Should I wait longer, or is that a good time to buy luxury? And we do have quite a few questions, like Ken, for example, wanting to know when to be in the market to purchase. But let's come back to Michael's question. Pops, what is your take? What do you think if you're a luxury car buyer, used luxury car buyer, you buying in March, or you wait until later this year?
Well, March is the start of the spring selling season. It's also the tax season, but tax season doesn't impact luxury car sales the same way as it impacts the $5,000 to $15,000 car market. I would say the longer you can wait, the cheaper the prices are going to be, because we're seeing a return to normalized depreciation, where vehicles are depreciating about, or they should be depreciating about, a point to a point and a half a month. Now, so far in January, we've seen a little faster depreciation than that, but it's slowing down a little bit compared to what we had seen in November and December. So I would say if you could wait longer, you will see greater depreciation on the wholesale market, and we should see more pressure with the slowing overall car market. We should see more pressure to bear that would bring down prices on the used cars as well. That's my take.
Completely agree with you, Pops. Let's go here to Ricardo, and then I want to turn our attention back to one other recession-oriented theme. Ricardo, thank you for the contribution.
Thank you
for your shows. Love watching every day. We appreciate you being here. I'm looking to get a new C8 70th anniversary Corvette. Thoughts if I should wait? Now, this is super interesting because you were just talking about luxury vehicles, but mass market, mass-produced luxury vehicles, things like the C8 Corvette. Is there any indication that prices of those are going to go down, or if they go down as significantly as more mass market vehicles? And I think the answer we can all say is no, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't see that happening. It's it's a specialty vehicle, and limited specialty vehicles don't tend to be impacted nearly as much as mass market vehicles.
Yeah, the specialty ones.
Core guy here with a contribution. Thank you for this. Not sure which is a better deal, trading in my used car at the dealership or at the grocery store for a couple trays of fresh eggs.
Oh God, I love him.
Let us know in the chat how many. Cartons of eggs you have in your fridge right now, and then whoever has the most has to donate the most at the end of today's show.
I'm thinking core guy must have like a relatively new 2021 or 2022 vehicle to be only getting a couple cartons of eggs at the supermarket.
Let's take a peek at this headline, guys. This is another reason why maybe that recession indicator is going off. This was in auto news this week. And Kimberly, I want you to take the lead on this one. Layoffs, funding delays reported at Solera Auto Finance. 2 former employees said that many of their colleagues were laid off on January 12th after the lender had shown lags in funding loans it purchased from auto dealerships. Dealers describe long waits for payments. What does this mean, Kimberly, and why the heck should we be concerned?
Well, Solera. Let's look at Solera. Solera is a group that came together and started business in March of 2022, and they went into dealerships and enticed them by saying, "Hey, we're lenders. We're direct lend. It's us. So whenever you send a loan out, it's going to say Solera on it." And we've got some reward perks for you too. So every deal that you get funded with us, we're going to help make payments on your DMS system, which is the program. And Zach, I am not a computer person, but it's the program, the DMS that the dealership uses. Also, we've got AI for fast funding. Now, a lot of people have said, "Hey, Kimberly, I signed on an iPad or I signed one of those little things." That's because it's getting funded immediately, which is a good thing for the dealership. Well, Solera's like, "Hey, we got this AI funding and it's super, super, super fast." Yeah. Okay, great. Well, guess what happened? Solera expanded enormously and all of a sudden was not paying their dealerships. Okay. Dealerships all of a sudden weren't getting the money. Now there are, it's a bad thing. And Ray and I were talking about this yesterday, saying, can you imagine being the dealership and it even says in this article that one of their reps was starting to tell dealerships, "Look, we're good, we're great, you can sign up with us, but you might not get your money for like 90 days, if at all." And to the point where one dealership had to send the title to the bank in order to stay compliant, and yet they weren't funded. Zach, there are people out there that actually did their due diligence, the consumers, and made their first few payments before the deal was even funded.
Pops, is this not cracks in the foundation of the way the auto industry works and recession indicators?
No.
Ooh.
Sorry to disagree. This is just a lender who tried to jump into the market, promised things that they couldn't deliver, and for all you car dealers out there, Igor knows this. Jerry, if you're on today, you know it. There's a couple things that dealer principals really, really keep their eye on, and good general managers really, really keep their eye on. Trade titles, because you have to have the trade title before you can either take the car to the auction, or you should have the trade title before you take the car to the auction, or before you try to retail it. Okay. And what's referred to in the industry as contracts in transit.
CIT.
Now, CITs. What that means is, in the old days, you would actually have to mail the contract to the bank before they would fund you. Car dealerships are a cash-intensive business. Cash flow is the lifeblood of a car dealership. So if you sell $1 million worth of cars and you're waiting on the banks to send you that $1 million, so that you can pay the cars off and bring the money, that's an issue. So one of the things dealer principals and GMs track is the contracts in transit. My last few years in the business, we needed to have deals funded in 3 days. If they weren't funded in 3 days,
you better believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. There were calls from the owner. Where's the money? What's the issue? What's the problem? What's the holdup? You did the deal 5 days ago. Why haven't we been funded yet? Are we waiting on STIPs? What is going on? And so this was a lender that came in, made some promises that they couldn't keep. But the vast majority of lenders out there will fund electronically today. You can send the deals to them electronically today. And so that there should be a limited number of real contracts in transit. And sometimes the contracts in transit that you're waiting on is because, well, you haven't sent it to the bank yet because the customer hasn't brought in the steps that the bank required. So they're not going to fund it if they don't have those steps. There could
Stipulation.
be, yes. So
A stip is, I'm sorry, Ray. A stip
go,
is, it comes over from the bank to the finance manager on the approval or on the decision. A stipulation could be, we have to have pay stubs. We have to have most recent bank statements. We need a POR, proof of residence. So that is a stipulation. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
no. So unless there's some stipulations that the finance office is waiting on, these deals typically get processed pretty quickly. And so if I was dealing with Solera, um, uh, and I had this issue once, if I had it a second time, I could assure you that the conversation with my finance department would be, you were to put absolutely zero deals through Solera. They don't pay us in a timely manner. And we're not going to go through that. Because if they were approved through Solera, they were probably approved through somebody else.
Yep.
So it's a big deal, but it's not an indication that there's cracks in the business. There's just cracks in that business,
that
as particular lender.
Exactly. As a little side note, you guys would be really, I think you would be surprised to know, whenever I'm helping people through the finance office process and they're asking questions, one of the questions I will ask them about their deal is, who's the lender? You would be shocked, I think, to find out that there are so many consumers out there that walk out of the finance office and they say, I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you not? That's just me. How do you not know who your lender is? So when you're in the finance office, please, as the consumer, ask, who is this going through? Who will I be paying every month? Just
Definitely.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Zach, the finance office won't be able to answer that question because they could be waiting on approvals from another bank or so that would have a lower buy rate, which would give them a higher spread to their sell rate, which would increase their profit. So that's why most finance offices, if it's not going through the captive lender, they use universal contracts that can be cashed at any bank. Okay. And so oftentimes they might not know who that lender's going to be the moment you left, but they'll know within the next, I don't know, few hours.
So you two are quite fun. Here's the deal. I have a hard stop at the half hour today. I want you guys to keep going. Pops, you know how to run StreamYard. No, I'm just being honest. You guys are doing great.
I don't have anything pulled up.
I do. I got it.
You guys got it. We got a bunch of contributions that came in. You guys are crushing it. You're having a great show. Here, before I go, I will give you guys are doing a great job, everyone. I just got to duck into the kitchen behind me. I got some work to do. This was migration week. I've been very busy. So how about this?
Yes, you guys, you have.
I favorited all of the contributions that came through, with the exception of this one, because I just thought it was funny. Egg dealer tried to sell me an extended warranty for my eggs, which I thought was pretty good.
What else?
Make sure you get to the questions.
Oh God,
you don't see the others under starred?
Okay, got it. I'm scrolling through. So I think the last one was the egg. Okay, got it.
You guys got it? You got it, Pops? You got it, Kimberly?
I think so.
Why do you do this to us?
Hey, everyone, have a wonderful
my mouse
weekend.
Isn't working.
Have fun with Kimberly and my dad. And I can't wait to come back and watch this. You guys, I'll talk to you later on. Have a good one,
All
guys.
right. Thank you, Zach.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for stopping by, Zach. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's bring this one up with Kevin.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Number one.
Yes.
That was very kind of you. 2023 Honda Ridgeline, BE and RTLE, two options. Local purchase at MSRP plus 2.9%, or drive 5 hours for 27. Okay, I'm driving 5 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
With the
you know,
2.9, yes, or wait
yeah,
for a 24 new model. New 23 Pilot is nice. I don't know. It depends on when you want the vehicle, but yes,
yeah,
if I wanted it now, I would drive and I would get it 2700 below with the 2.9.
yeah. Because even even if you take into consideration that you have to drive 5 hours there and 5 hours back, that's 10 hours. And I don't know about you, but ain't nobody paying me $270 an hour. And that's what that $2,700 equates to. So
Yes.
yeah,
Thank
you're
you,
you're you're
Kevin.
picking up $270 an hour by making that drive, Kevin. So if it were me and I wanted the car, I'd be making that drive.
Wait a second,
Okay.
guys. Wait a
Yeah.
second.
Uh-oh.
Holy
Uh-oh.
cow.
Oh
What
my
the heck? Right
God.
before I
Whoa,
left. What
whoa.
the? Whoa. Just
Oh,
thank you. I'm leaving again, but holy cow.
Fix it, Tony. Wait a minute. Okay, fix it, Tony. We are going to come right back. That's extremely generous, and thank
yes. Oh
you.
my God.
Keep her
Thank
moving.
you so
Planning on a
much, Tony.
Forerunner purchase this year. We'll post my. Please do.
Yes.
Please do fix it, Tony, and thank you for that.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, didn't
yes.
expect that one.
I'll be able to afford dinner tonight. Uh,
Yeah. Yes. Back to
oh,
Michael. As someone who's been tracking the C8 market, it's bad. The new Z06 and E-Ray may still reach over MSRP, but base C8 aren't even reaching MSRP at auctions. What do you say, Ray?
well, the E-Ray is going to be the electric Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
The base C8s are not nearly as popular as the others. So yeah, the base vehicles you should be able to get for perhaps MSRP or less as a consumer. The Z06 and the others, you're going to pay for those. It's pretty much always been that way
Mm-hmm.
with the Corvette market. And there are a handful of dealers out there that say even the Z06 and the others, they're not going to charge over MSRP, but those dealers are few and far between. And to get on their list to be able to get a car is probably pretty remote at this point in time, I would think.
Any advice on getting rid of a used Tesla? Well,
Yeah.
I have no idea. New F-150 hybrid coming, and I might be underwater in my Model Y thanks to Elon's. I love your show. Okay. I don't know what to say about that, Ray.
Well, obviously used Tesla prices are tanking. And there are many dealerships that are so concerned with the values of used Teslas that they are being so conservative in how they are appraising them that it's going to make it very difficult for current Model Y owners to trade their vehicles. Because Elon basically destroyed the used Tesla market when he did what he did last week or 10 days ago, whenever it was. And it's just, yeah, you probably are underwater, and that's probably just the case and how it's going to be. It's
Thank you.
unfortunate.
Thank you,
Yeah.
John. Core guy, fix it. Tony is an eggs farmer. um, oh God, you gotta love it. Ray, let's just touch on for a moment what we were talking about yesterday. There's an article about Subaru, and I know we have a lot of Subaru people out here. Rising interest rates are less of a concern for Subaru dealers, and I just wanted to say why. Why do you think rising interest rates? Now, I did work at a Subaru dealership for 9 years, and it's not easy being a finance manager for Subaru because they're very dedicated people that pay cash, and that's
your experience. I mean, you can probably share stories with the audience about at Subaru, it's a very loyal customer base. It apparently is a fairly well-heeled customer base that's frugal and saves up their money, and it makes it very difficult. And so if there's rising interest rates, it doesn't impact the Subaru buyer as much as it impacts most buyers, because there's such a high percentage of Subaru buyers, as you know, that pay cash.
They do.
Yeah.
They
And
always have.
if correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Subaru or doesn't Subaru kind of restrict how much profit is on some of the Subaru protection packages, like extended warranties, how much they can mark that stuff up, things like that, maintenance plans?
I will tell you no, that they
Okay.
didn't. They didn't. Now it's been since the beginning of 2019 that I worked for Subaru. They did not. Any of the years that I have, we didn't have any restriction. Now Subaru had guidelines. Hey, we would like for you not to charge over $3,000 in markup on our products. We would like that, but nobody listened. None of the finance managers listened to that.
Gotcha.
Let's see. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Swinging
thank you.
Kangaroo. Hi, panels. How are you doing today? Thank you. My question is that when you're ordering a car to build exactly what you want, do dealers sell it over MSRP 911C4S?
Well, that's a pretty specialized vehicle.
Yeah.
So it would be up to the dealership. You should be, if you ever order a vehicle, you need to negotiate the price of the vehicle when you're ordering it, so you know what to expect. Now, a very specialized vehicle like that, depending on the Porsche dealership, some will charge a premium over MSRP, others might not. So it all depends on your local dealership where you're trying to order it, but it's certainly something that needs to be discussed at the time of the order. Wouldn't you agree, Kimberly?
I totally agree with that. Ray, I don't know if I can do this, but hey, I'm going to give it a shot. Are you
Okay.
ready? I'm
Yeah.
going to give it a shot. I think, do I just hit the present button?
You hit present, and then you click within the box. You click on your screen within the box, and then you click down on the right share, and then it should work. At least that's what I remember.
All right. I'm going to share this.
You did it.
I did it. Oh my God. Okay, listen,
Yeah.
you guys. Because this is good. Cadillac Escalade owner gets warranty voided after refinancing. And thank you, Justice, for bringing this up this morning. It was an interesting read. But so somebody bought a very, very expensive 2023 Cadillac Escalade V. And they were under... let me read this here. A few months later in January. Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
I was going to say they financed it through the dealership, I guess probably through Ally, more than likely. And they, a few months later, went and refinanced it at a lower rate. They didn't transfer ownership. They just got a cheaper loan on their vehicle. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of those specialized vehicles that when people buy them, they sign a form that says they have to hold on to it for a certain period of time. And if you don't, it will void your warranty.
Yes.
Now he's got issues.
And quite frankly, to me, he went ahead and he refinanced. Then there was an issue that came up. So he takes it to the dealership, and guess what? They're telling him that the warranty was blocked. So to me, it sounds like one hand wasn't talking to the other hand, because there was no transfer of ownership. He simply refinanced his loan. That's all.
Yes. Didn't get a new title, didn't do anything. And it sounds pretty heavy-handed to me on behalf of Cadillac to put a warranty hold on that vehicle, because the customer who bought it went out and refinanced his loan. This is I think, what they call either collateral damage or unintended consequences of some of the programs that they put in place. Um, so, yeah, they wanted to prevent flippers, people who buy these type of vehicles and turn
Right.
around and sell them right away for a large profit. They wanted to discourage that. And so they have these customers sign these forms that say they have to hold on to it for a certain period of time. And if they don't, then it voids their warranty. Well, this customer, he's holding on to it. It's his. It was his when he bought it. It's still his today, except that they've been fighting for a week with the dealer and General Motors, trying to get them to correct the situation. This poor gentleman didn't do anything wrong other than lower his monthly payment for, well, the I won't say it's an overpriced vehicle from General Motors, but for this specialty vehicle from General Motors. This is exactly a situation of where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing.
Exactly. Exactly. That's $150,000 vehicle, I think.
And it is, and there should be somebody within the Cadillac division at General Motors that can say, okay, in this particular case, he didn't violate anything. We need to reinstate his warranty. There's
Right.
got to be somebody that can do that. And I for the life of me, I don't understand why someone at the dealership can't get to that somebody.
I know it's still not resolved as of the writing 2 days ago. It's not being resolved yet. So I'm going to be following along with that. I think that's really, really interesting.
And it shouldn't be that hard to correct. I mean, it's a keystroke on a computer that somebody can go in and take it from hold to not hold.
Yep.
Okay, it's pretty simple. You just need somebody to approve it. And there's got to be somebody at GM, somebody at Cadillac that can do that. It's not
rocket science.
No,
It's
it
not
shouldn't
rocket
be.
science.
It shouldn't be that hard.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Well, I think we had a pretty good show, Ray.
I do too. I was shocked that my son just left us at 15 minminutes ago. But what are you going to do? He's my son, and it's he's too old for me to spank him anymore.
He's very, very busy. I can promise you that. I do know that for sure.
I know he is. I
Yeah.
do know he is. Thank you, Kimberly, for being here today. I
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
I know Zach appreciates it. I know the audience appreciates it. We'll be back here Monday at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific on the Ray and Zach channel with more news that you can use from CarEdge. And on the main CarEdge channel, we'll be back, Zach and I, tomorrow evening at 7 for our Saturday night show. For those of you who may be interested. In the meantime, thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for being a part of the community and being a part of the show, and have a great weekend. And we look forward to seeing you back here on, Monday. Thanks again, Kimberly.
Thank you. Thank you, Fix It Tony. Holy cow.
That means I got to do my dance moves.
Oh, God.
And now I'm ending the broadcast. That's it.
All right.